First, sorry about the wind turbines. It's kind of warm in here. Okay, let's get down to it. Until Dawn. Most of you know it from playthroughs via YouTube, or you've played it yourself. It's this quirky little game about a bunch of people in a slasher scenario where every choice matters. Now it's on the big screen. And thankfully, they didn't screw it up. First and foremost, let me say that, spoiler alert, it's a prequel to the game. Evidence suggests that it takes place like right before the events of the game. And it does not disappoint. Let's start with the cast. The standard slasher bait are surprisingly likable, and you want them to survive, so they're pretty atypical of standard slasher victims. You see some good behavior, some bad behavior, but overall, you want to see everyone succeed. You invest in their characters just like you invest in video game characters. I can relate. And as for the villain, surprise, surprise, well, not really. Peter Stormare, the breakout performance of the game, is awesome as his sinister physician brought to life. Honestly, Peter Stormare is one of the top 10 Ultimate actors of all time. I'm saying it right now. He brought a level of sinister dread to the character that he made famous in the game. Like I said, a physician, namely a psychologist. And made him more than just a rubbery face on a motion capture screen. Now, as for the setting, basically it's a town that was swallowed up in an earthquake. It was a mining accident, and apparently the humans dug too greedily and too deep, much like the dwarves of Moria in Lord of the Rings. Only they didn't find a Balrog, they found something else. Something that manifests in your own psyche that grabs on with both hands and doesn't let go until it's part of you and you're part of it. The setting and the various locations are full of personality, and the monsters that populate the world are mostly done with practical makeup. Thank goodness. I was worried that they were going to have to do CGI for some monsters. They did CGI for one monster, but it was for like a split-second scene, and it worked okay. But the real monsters were done practically, and thank goodness for that. They were right out of the game. They looked great. They felt sympathetic, but at the same time, you didn't want to get too close to them because you knew that they were animalistic and you wouldn't survive if you got too close. Not to mention the various makeup effects on the characters that looked painful to see. You looked like you were watching people suffer leprosy. I can't get into too much detail, but they were going through some stuff, and it looked painful. And there are these other seemingly practical looking effects that I can't go into without spoilers, but I will say this: they were definitely going out with a bang, and it looked gloriously gory. The story itself, basically they were stuck in a slasher situation that changed slightly from event to event, and if they all made it until dawn, roll credits, they could break the curse, because that's what the town was depicted as having, a curse. But they could simply respawn from the moment they got there and the sun went down. But they had a limited number of lives, so it's kind of like Happy Death Day meets that one with Taissa Farmiga about slashers. Yeah, that one. And the scenario worked out really well. It was entertaining, spine-tingling. There was one jump scare that actually got me, and I was on the edge of my seat wondering if they would all survive or if someone had to be sacrificed. I'm also wondering if they might have done it slightly differently for different theaters. Like, once they put it on Blu-ray or on I don't know, Netflix, are they going to have it be a choose your own path story like the game was? Because it feels like they could do that. They actually did something similar with one of the Final Destination DVDs. It was a choose your own path mode, which I enjoyed thoroughly. They could probably do it like that with here. Let's try that again. They could probably do it like that with this film. Can't talk today. So yeah, if you're into suspenseful, mood-heavy slasher flicks that have characters worth seeing survive, the film adaptation of Until Dawn really hit the nail on the head. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, slasher flicks might one day come in handy as teaching aids for those of us who end up in extreme circumstances, but the main way to avoid a slasher situation is just stay away from creepy cabins in the middle of the woods and never investigate disappearances. It never ends well, unless you played the game heavily and know all the tricks.